Steve Garisher. I'm a board member of the Southern California Horticultural Society. And we are having a meeting. The meeting tonight is the Modern Crevice Garden, Going West with It, with Kenton Seth, an author and garden designer. And we'll start right now with the plant forum, which is where we ask, when we're in person, we actually bring plants into the meeting and have a display table. When we're online, we actually have people send in pictures, and you're welcome to do this, anyone out there. We would like you to follow, just try and get as much information to us with the picture that you can. And so let's jump right into that. I need to hit something else before I do that. I need to do this. And now I'm hoping that everyone is seeing the plant forum screen.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let me. Boy, we had it down on our test. And let me go to. Why is it not showing up? Still not?
There we go. We can see
It's
it.
there. Okay. Great. So this is the plant forum for November. And the first plant is Rogers Red Grape, or Vitis Rogers Red. And originally sold as native, and it's now been determined that this is actually a cross between the native California grape, Vitis californica, and an older European variety, probably one of the dark Concord type grapes. And it's a large growing vine. It's very easy to grow if you get it in the right spot. It's very bold. It's very vigorous, and it produces loads of fruit in the right situation. It's also tough, fairly drought tolerant. The birds love the fruit. It is edible for people as well. And then you get the added bonus of this wonderful fall foliage. It's really brilliant, and a vine in the proper spot where it's going to catch some cold air at night will turn really lovely, brilliant red. And this one is exhibited by Laura Bauer, who is up in Ventura. And there's more of the information there in the comments. The next one is from Yoav Paskowitz, another board member, Catalina fuchsia, Epilobium Catalina. That's the name of it. I'm wondering, actually, is it? Oh, it says native to Catalina Island. So epilobiums, which used to be Zauschneria, are called California fuchsia. They have nothing fuchsia-like about them other than the fact that the flowers are pendulous. Fuchsias are never this sun tolerant and this tough. These are tough plants in the right situation. And an interesting thing about these is they bloom kind of at an off season for most California natives, but they bloom in time for the when the hummingbirds are actually migrating. So it's a wonderfully balanced situation here with this plant. And you will find, if you grow the epilobiums, almost any of the cultivars, that they will seed themselves around. You may not get the same parent plant, but you will get more seedlings popping up and taking full advantage. Also a plant that once it gets a little shaggy, it can be cut back fairly hard to have it kind of renew at a nicer, sort of more compact manner. This is from Jones Citron. It's Hymena callus. It's a hybrid spider lily. There's many of these in whites and creamy colors, creamy yellows, and different configurations with the petals. Some of the petals are a little bit reflexed and look more like a cat's claw or something. These are quite interesting, easy to grow, tough. She says this is from the late Charles Hardman's collection, and it's the first bloom in 7 years. That's a long time to get it to come up to bloom. These used to be easily, they were sold everywhere for the longest time. Now they're not so easy to find, but if you go to bulb sellers and who have an extensive catalog, you can usually find these fairly easy in the right spot. This is from Carol Bornstein. This is Santa Cruz Island Buckwheat, or Eriogonum arborescens. Arborescens, I think because of the shape of the way it grows, it looks like little trees when it grows. I may be mistaken on that, but I think that's what I remember hearing. A very handsome buckwheat. When you see these out on Santa Cruz Island, they're really quite stunning when you see whole hillsides full of this and almost nothing else. I have some spectacular pictures from when I was out there. Really a wonderful garden plant in the right spot, and provides year-round color, because once the flowers fade, you see you can get these almost chocolate colored seed heads, and they run through a kind of full range from pinkish after the white creamy white flowers. They run through pinks and into russet colors, and then darken into this, and look really quite handsome almost year round. So good California native plant. This is also from Carol Bornstein. This is the Gladiolus carmenius from South Africa, cliff gladiolus. I'm of the opinion that if you're going to grow glads, you should grow the species. I do not like gladiolus itself. It's personal. But this looks like a really fine one. She says it's about 18 inches tall in bloom. You'll find that a lot of the South African species glads, when they're blooming, they're on almost wire-like stems, and they bounce around in the wind. When you see them in the wild, they're usually growing in grasslands and places where they need that kind of almost, they need to be able to sway with the wind and not break. So they do have this grace about them that's really quite nice in the garden. Sun to part shade, water when actively growing, and then allow to dry out. Almost, or many of the South African bulbs, many of our native bulbs, many bulbs from Mediterranean climates, you need to do this with. You need to dry them out, or they'll rot in ground if they stay wet throughout the season. And generally, most of them are summer dormant. This is from Joan Citron. It's autumn crocus and Sternbergia lutea. Another old-fashioned plant that used to be sold far and wide, and now you have to go searching for if you want it. And it's summer dry, winter rains. She grows this out in Reseda. And typical Joan Citron, I love in the comments, she says, these are a pain. That sounds just like, I can hear her saying it. She said they're not happy once they're transplanted, and they've taken 2 years to rebloom after they were moved. So a lot of bulbs will do that. They'll be a little sensitive to being transplanted. But this is a bulb that is happy with less watering. Definitely, this needs to dry out over late spring and into the summer, and doesn't mind the hot soils, even dry. Once once we get rains, it'll sprout again. And again, the same with Joan has put pictures of 2 different hybrid cyclamens here, and probably, I'm going to guess, one of the parents is Cyclamen cuum. The hardy cyclamens, especially the smaller ones from the Western Mediterranean, Greece and over into Turkey and places like that. And these are really, for something that looks so delicate, they're astonishingly tough and really come back well if they're sited in the right spot and don't get waterlogged. So nice to plant under kind of bright shade, in a bright dry shade under trees and things like that, where they can get some early sun in the fall and in the winter when the sun is lower. So they'll appreciate a spot like that. Also, if you don't have the right spot in the ground, you can grow these in pots and they'll come back really quite nicely. So thank you everyone for sending in plants to the plant forum. And let's get that off and